The International Criminal Court's announcement that global arrest warrants will be sought for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar on war crimes allegations drew bipartisan criticism on Capitol Hill Tuesday.
I see as a step in the wrong direction. That's going to make it more challenging for us to get the parties together. There's always been an understanding the ICC is there to deal with countries that don't have an independent judiciary. Israel has an independent judiciary.
The United States top diplomat says the ICC announcement complicates negotiations for a ceasefire in the conflict that began October 7th when Hamas attacked Israel, killing more than 1,200 people and taking about 250 hostages.
The shameful equivalence implied between Hamas and the leadership of Israel, I think that only complicates the prospects for getting such an agreement. We'll continue to forge ahead to do that, but that decision, as you said, on so many levels, is totally wrong-headed.
Other lawmakers downplayed the announcement.
A prosecutor making a recommendation, I think, is not worth the attention this is getting.
Protesters interrupting Blinken's testimony.
Blinken, you will be remembered as the butcher of Gaza.
As part of the domestic disagreement over U.S. support of Israel. More than 35,000 Palestinians, both civilians and combatants, have died in the conflict, according to the Hamas-run Gaza Health Ministry. A recent State Department report found Israel has likely violated international standards for preventing harm to civilians, but the U.S. has not cut off aid.
We are investigating a number of instances, some of which are alluded to in the report, others that are not, to make those determinations. Israel itself is investigating hundreds of incidents to make its own determinations. And indeed, there are criminal investigations underway in Israel in this area. It's very difficult to make final determinations in the midst of a war when we do not have access on the ground.
Democrats warned Blinken the world was watching the U.S. response.
What is painfully obvious to anybody paying attention, that for long periods of time between October 7th and today, the Netanyahu government has failed to comply with the international norms that require it to facilitate and not arbitrarily restrict or deny the delivery of humanitarian assistance to people in desperate need. Mr. Secretary, that hurts our credibility around the world.
Meanwhile, the top Senate Foreign Relations Republican, Jim Risch, said the U.S. was not doing enough to support Israel.
The administration is imposing costs on Israel. You must stop blaming Israel and let Israel remove Hamas from Gaza. That is the only way to move forward.
The United Nations announced Tuesday it was no longer able to access aid operations in Rafah. Blinken told lawmakers the U.S. has warned Israel its offensive in the region could be deeply harmful to civilians. Katherine Gypson, VOA News.